This fantasy football sleepers edition of the Sports Gambling Podcast is presented by WinBet. WinBet is now live in Colorado, Indiana, Michigan, New Jersey, Tennessee, and Virginia. From boosted parlays to in-game odds on every major sport, WinBet has what you need to win. Sign up today to receive a $500 risk-free sports bet. Download the WinBet app or visit wynnbet.com and start winning today. We're also brought to you by PropSwap, America's #1 app to buy and sell sports bets. Use promo code SGP on your first deposit and receive up to $500 in bonus cash. That's PropSwap.com, promo code SGP. We're also brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up at UnderdogFantasy.com with promo code SGPN and receive a free $25 entry to use in Best Ball Mania 2 for a chance to win $1 million. And of course, don't forget to download the SGPN app in the App Store or Google Play Store.
Hey, this is Derek Stevens. I'm the owner of Circa Las Vegas. You're listening to SGPN. Let it ride.
He's one of those guys who will get penetration.
Over.
It's a baby fucking wheel, man. San Diego Superchargers.
Now go home and get your fucking shine box.
Ooh, welcome everyone to the Sports Gambling Podcast. I'm Sean, stacking the money green with my partner in picks, Ryan, Real Money Kramer. What's happening, Kramer Dog?
Oh man, we haven't lied to the audience yet. Only football talk.
Yes,
football only. This time we're talking about spicy sleepers. I was told spicy sleepers.
Spicy sleepers. We're going to put together an entire lineup of fantasy football players who ADP is greater than 100. But before we get to that, we have to hit on this. Carson Wentz has been injured. It's a sad day as an Eagles fan. I'm just kidding. I don't know what I'm happier about. The Dak news, the Wentz injury news, Jalen Hurts balling out in camp in day 3. The stars are aligning. Hopefully you got down on the Carson Wentz under that we gave out on the touchdowns and throwing yards and passing yards.
Sean, are you a little worried? You know, when you get to Vegas, you hit a hot streak early on, maybe a little too early in the trip.
Christmas in July, Ryan. Christmas in July, and again, August is upon us. We're just diving headfirst into football. Play the music. Let's go, baby. Get that NFL theme. The blood is flowing. The football juices are here, and of course, SGPN presented by WinBet. Hopefully you got down on that Carson Wentz under. All those unders we've been giving out. Even the Jalen Waddle under. He's dealing with an ankle injury. I feel like, knock on wood, so far, Ryan, the stuff we've been giving out, been on the right side of this early injury news. And we got fantasy football coming at you. But again, if you want to get down on some player props, maybe a David Montgomery to win the rushing title, love that. Kramer gave that out the other day. You can get that all over at WinBet, wynnbet.com. Download the app or just go to winbet.com to start winning today. So many states. We got Colorado, yes. Indiana, yes. Michigan, yes. New Jersey, yes. Tennessee, yes. West Virginia, bringing you the excitement of Win Las Vegas. Can't make it to Las Vegas, don't worry. All you got to do, go to wynnbet.com. Download that WinBet app. Download Bet Win. Let's go. All right, Ryan, joining us on the line, Zach Brook from the Upon Further Review podcast, another Blue Wire podcast. Zach, thanks for hopping on the line.
Appreciate you guys for having me. Thank you.
Yeah. So you are now correct me if I'm wrong. You're a Washington football team fan?
Unfortunately, yes.
Oh no.
Yes.
Oh, unfortunately. Well, you got to be. I
personally love football team fans.
Yeah, we're all football team fans, right? Come on, you gotta. How are you enjoying the transition from Redskins to football team? Have you fully embraced the football team name? Do you want them to come up with a new name? What do you want that name to be?
This has been horrible. This whole thing's been horrible.
Yeah.
I get you had to change it, but you should have had something planned rather than this. I feel like Washington football team sounds like a kind of a knockoff shirt you'd buy at Kohl's. Doesn't sound like a professional franchise. And I don't think they have anything in place. We'll see what they do. I haven't bought any WF team merch. Yeah. It's been weird calling it the team, the football team. People outside DC like, oh, that's pretty cool because it's not my team. But if it was anybody else's team, you'd be like, that sucks.
I can see that.
Yeah, there's been some other stuff outside the name, but hopefully they're getting this rolling. I know 2021 season is going to be football team. Hopefully after that we got something else because right now we have no mascot. We have this. It's a
delightful job at SEO. I mean, well played, Dan Snyder. Because when I type in anything where I'm trying to look up the best football team, I see the Washington football team stuff start to pop in there.
Yeah, it is. It does make it confusing for any sort of research because just again, enter it in football team.
It's a master class in SEO. That's what it is.
They should come up with the mascot first and then work their way backwards. That seems like the way to go. Why not just the Fighting Joe Theismann's? Again, friend of the program. We love Joe Theismann here. Maybe just honor Joe Theismann and call it that. We'll see what they end up doing. Where are you at expectations wise? Because of course, unfortunately the Cowboys, they seem to be high on people's list, but again, Dak already dealing with muscle shoulder soreness. Hopefully he's okay. I don't want to see him miss any games, but I know the Washington football team, everyone's high on the defense and high on the idea that Ryan Fitzmagic step up from what you guys had last year at quarterback, which I totally agree. I am worried about your defense, but how are you looking at expectation wise for the football team?
I think they're pretty tempered. I think people need to remember they went 7-9 last year and they lost in the wild card. They didn't win.
Yes.
Both of their starting DNs, hopefully everybody's getting vaccinated, so we have no issues with that. But the quarterback, to me, they still have 3 backup quarterbacks on the roster, and they could have went out and gotten a starter, whether that be maybe going after Goff. I'm kind of glad they didn't. Really wanted them to go after Stafford or even trade up for one of the guys in the draft. Yeah. They did not do that. So we're to see what happens, but right now their biggest liability is at the most important position on the football field.
No, and Ryan Fitzpatrick, he's fun. He's fun for a couple games. He's fun coming in off the bench, but there's a reason he's been in the league how many years and only had, a couple winning seasons. He just doesn't seem like a guy that can deliver you a winning season for 17 games.
Looks like a literal journeyman.
Yeah, exactly. He really looks like a guy who just showed up to the sawmill, ready to clock in, clock out. Again, he's fun. And he's had a couple big fantasy games over the years.
Big fan of Team Ryan, you know that.
But where are you at with Fitzmagic? What was your reaction to the signing?
I was kind of hyped when they signed him because before that we were going off Alex Smith's one leg, so you kind of knew now we're getting there. We got a quarterback with 2 legs. We're ready to compete. So we're kind of with that, but obviously he's never made the playoffs, and he kind of always starts off hot, then gets cold, and it gets real cold, then somebody else comes in, and the guy we have coming in is also on a brand new contract. And Taylor Heineke, he's played 3 games. He was a grad school student last year. So I think we got to temper the expectations. I do like the receiving core. I do like Curtis Samuel. They re-upped on Logan Thomas. The offensive line is still kind of a work in progress. Running backs, I'm fine with. I think people are kind of overhyping Antonio Gibson. I think going to temper those expectations for year 2. Defense should be great. There's not really any holes. I think they should have moved on from Landon Collins or moved him to linebacker. He's still going to be playing safety. We'll see how he comes off the Achilles. But I think they're going to be in it in the NFC East. But I'm not going to say they're going to go out and crush the competition.
I like it, Ryan. Cynical Washington football team fan. Not drinking the burgundy Kool-Aid here. I like that as an Eagles fan. I'm probably drinking a little too much Kool-Aid. All right, we set up a fun little exercise here. Going through, going to give you out some fantasy sleepers. The criteria is they have to have an ADP over 100. Going to give you a quarterback, 2 running backs, 3 receivers. Closing it out strong with the tight end,
just like fantasy football. Sean.
Yes. Wow. Exactly. In the week 1, before we fired up the podcast, I was already licking my chops. DraftKings, the Millie Maker prices are out. I'm already looking. I'm going to do what I did last year. 32 entries, 1 for each team. Rolling the dice. All right, let's kick things off. Who do you got as your sleeper quarterback, Ryan?
I'm going to just kick it off with my guy. I'm going full bore. I'm inviting him up to the bedroom right away. Sam Darnold, baby. Looking over at the Fantasy Pros ADP, a little shocked to see he was QB 32. That feels a little aggressive, but he's my quarterback 14. ADP was 197. you're probably not drafting him in single quarterback leagues,
standard
unless you
league.
you're waiting until the end. You're just grabbing 2 guys. But man, look at that offense and look at how bad that defense could be. There's no reason why Sam Darnold isn't going to have a year this year. We've talked about all the props we like to support it. And again, Joe Brady, we saw what he did with not an elite recruit in Joe Burrow, not the most elite recruit in Joe Burrow in college.
Got the most out of him.
Maybe he can do the same thing with a healthy Christian McCaffrey, a healthy set of receivers around him. So
and game script wise, I don't know if they've done
I have
much.
a lot of shares in best ball.
I don't know if they've done enough really to shore up their defense. So could be playing from behind a bunch. And again, even Bridgewater had good fantasy numbers last year in that offense, especially for Teddy Bridgewater. Zach, what do you got? Who's a quarterback sleeper you got your eyes on here?
I'm actually staying in division. I got to give it to Jameis.
Okay.
In the Bayou.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got LASIK.
Yep.
Drew Brees is gone.
Yep.
Michael Thomas we'll see what happens with him, but I think like you got Jameis, he can see the linebackers down the field. I think I saw on Fantasy Pros they had him listed as QB 30, and if he's doing anything, if he's out there, he's not going to be 30 because even if he's throwing picks, he's kind of matching it with those numbers with his TDs. I think if you can get him, honestly, you're not even drafting him, and you can just grab him off the waivers. I think you're doing all right.
Yeah, and especially with these sleeper quarterbacks. If you're in a super flex league where you need to draft 2 quarterbacks, Darnold, a Jameis, those are slam dunks. I keep looking back. Kramer and I keep going back and forth. We think Jameis should be the starter. Getting a little worried that Sean Payton. I'm hearing that like Taysom Hill is running with the ones. To me, if you're Sean Payton, you're paying Taysom Hill $10 million. Why don't you start Jameis and have Taysom Hill do whatever the wingback role that he has, so you can have both guys on the field at the same time? Do you think Jameis is the one that eventually gets a starting job? Because to me, you start with Jameis, then if it doesn't work, you go to Taysom. But it seems like Taysom may have a shot to win this thing.
I think if it doesn't work with Jameis, you're screwed because Taysom showed you that what was the max he threw, like 15 passes in a couple of those games last year. They did all right because they have an incredible defense. But I think if Jameis doesn't work, you're going Ian Book. So I think they're hoping it works with Jameis.
Yeah, no, I'm on board. Hopefully Sean Payton sees it our way, because I do have some Jameis in best ball, and would be fun to kind of have him bust open. For me, my fantasy football quarterback sleeper. We've been talking to him about him a bunch. Again, not currently the starter, but I imagine he's going to get there sooner rather than later. Give me Justin Fields. Right now, his ADP is 126. His average draft positions like QB 19. I got him as high as QB 10 because I think he's going to get in there. I think he's going to run the ball, and I think in Chicago, Andy Dalton, they're not really committed to Andy Dalton. They brought him in. Nagy's never worked with him before. I think he's very easy to sit down. And if Andy Dalton struggles early, which he might, why not throw in Justin Fields? If Matt Nagy doesn't show some promise here, he's getting fired. And the easiest way to show some promise is have Justin Fields look good.
I'm making a hot take for next year. We're coming into the 2022 season, and everyone is going to be talking about how there's regression due for all these rushing quarterbacks because everyone went too hard on the rushing floor this year. It does seem like a theme. No, I mean, obviously if Fields gets in there, he's massive. If he gets in
Zach,
there.
where are you at with Justin Fields?
You caught me by surprise with QB 10.
Yeah,
we don't even know if he's going to play.
Yeah, that's true.
We don't know how the offense is going to work. If is Montgomery finally going to be the guy? You got Tariq Cohen coming back healthy. Is Allen Robinson finally going to step up? Is Allen Robinson going to say, "Get me the hell out of here"? I don't even know who's playing tight end. So I think QB 10's a little high unless he just kind of just goes off from the start. But he's intriguing. I don't think anybody's drafted him in any 12-team format.
No, yeah. Again, this is a guy that you can throw in best ball. Usually, he's my second quarterback in best ball.
Yeah, and it speaks to like if you're playing managed, just don't draft a quarterback early. Maybe you like the elite guys, but there's so many guys. It feels like you can stream pretty healthily with the amount of guys that can just run and are probably going to see the field at some point.
All right, Ryan, RB1 of your sleeper team. Who do you got?
Real quick, Jameis Winston too. I mean, how many guys? 8.2 yards per attempt with Tampa last time we saw him out there. So he could be.
Yeah, and he's in a dome in the Saints system.
As I was drafting a team after team for 24 hours straight, I just found myself taking Jameis at the end of these drafts to pair with guys like Mahomes.
It's fun to roll the dice
and Josh Allen, because why not? All right. Let's go right to it. I left some meat out there for some other guys, but Trey Sermon at running back 36, average draft position just north of 100 at 101. He's my running back 18. And I think this is another situation where right now we don't know that he's going to be the starter. I think it's starting to look more and more like he could be the guy. You mentioned Mostert, not the healthiest.
Well, he showed up in camp with the knee brace. He says it's precautionary and he's not injured. But I don't know why you'd randomly just wear a knee brace. So we'll see.
My take is when Shanahan or a Kubiak drafts a running back this early, they know what they're doing.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen them.
He looks perfect for the system, and he's the thumper. He's the goal line back. Don't give me any of that Wayne Gallman bullshit. Me and Wayne are close personal friends. Of course, he did wish me happy birthday 2 years ago. But yeah, this is all Trey Sermon. So he's my running back 18. I think he's a great sleeper. You can get him. I mean, Sean, we got him a little earlier, but like he's like what, 7th, 6th, 7th round, maybe 5th round, depending on what kind of league you're in. Yeah, no, he's definitely available relatively early, and again, we've seen him not trust Jimmy G at all, and it seems like it's weird because I don't know what's going on with Shanahan. He doesn't trust Jimmy G enough to the point that he has to draft Trey Lance, but he's adamant that Jimmy G is his guy. But then he also only lets Jimmy G throw like 10 passes in the NFC Championship game. I don't know where we're at, but it's clearly like running the ball, and they got a good knack for running back talent. Where are you at with your first running back here, Zach?
Well, going back to Sermon, are you that confident that even if obviously Mostert's had some problems with injury, if he goes down, that Sermon's going to be the guy? Because anytime it feels like one of their guys goes down and you're confident the other one, Jeff Wilson goes nuts. So, yeah, I mean, and then did they still have Tevin Coleman? I know it is Breed. I don't even know who's playing running back there. They got Breed. I know they got a guy in the 7th round. Somebody told me they were like, and you got 100 different running backs, and you got Juszczyk. You're confident going into it?
Very.
If your RB2 goes down, you're confident Trey Sermon getting you the rest of the way.
Yeah, I would feel pretty good if Trey Sermon was my 3rd running back on a team for sure.
Yeah, I mean, some of the other guys in there, Jeff Wilson is on the pup. You got Josh Hokett, Jermichael Hasty, who's kind of interesting, Elijah Mitchell, and then Trey Sermon there. So yeah, I agree with you, Kramer. I don't think Wayne Gallman is the guy.
The Wayne train though.
But the committee thing is always interesting with the 49ers. What do you got, Zach? Who's your RB1 here?
Well, Slim Pickens, because you said ADP is over 100. So
these are sleepers.
Yeah, I went with James Conner over in Arizona. I mean, you got what's his name? Chase Edmonds.
Chase Edmonds.
Yep.
Chase Edmonds, because Drake's gone. And personally, after last year with Kyler, when you kind of saw him kind of being that goal line option, and then he sort of got a little banged up, they started to not really use him at that. You got a guy who's twice the size of him that can just barrel through it. I think he can get you some kind of like last minute TDs right in there. And if anything happens to Edmonds, there's your guy, because he can show he can carry the bulk of the touches.
Totally. And I think in general, follow what these coaches did. They brought in James Conner for a reason. In the same way, I think Kenyon Drake gets involved a little bit in Las Vegas. They brought him in for a reason.
Bit of a steal. He didn't exactly get a ton of contract offers, but yeah, I mean, he's a guy that if you're going like RB0 or maybe you're just taking a 1st rounder and waiting, Connor's a great guy to end up with, because like you said, Chase Edmonds has shown us he can't make it through the season. So at some point, James Conner's going to have a 20 carry game.
All right. For my first sleeper running back, his ADP for running back is 46. His overall ADP 136. I got him as high as like running back 19. Maybe I'm a little crazy, but I think, and I'd love to get Zach's take on this, JD McKissic is going to be involved for the Washington football team. Now, again, this is, a PPR league. I think Washington football team, you should be a little worried.
That toe.
The turf toe with Antonio Gibson and JD McKissic looks good. I mean, the guy is coming off an 80 catch season. Now, some of that was Alex Smith just checking it down, but I still think he's going to be pretty heavily involved in the passing game. Where are you at with JD McKissic?
I mean, he was great last year. Obviously, they had a quarterback who wasn't watching film, a quarterback with one leg and everybody else got hurt.
Yeah.
So he was kind of getting those kind of like throwaways. I don't know how much more involved he's going to be this year because I know they want Gibson involved a lot in the pass game. So I'd maybe kind of like lower my expectations from McKissic. I think his ADP would have been a lot higher if they kind of just revolved. If he was their go-to third down guy, I'd be all in on him. He kind of remind me like a poor man's Theo Riddick who just retired, did not know he was in the league. I haven't heard that name in 4 years. So, but with McKissic, I think he could help it if Gibson goes down, he's great, but he's not going to run the ball at all. He's kind of going to be that other option. And also with him, when he was getting a lot of touches, they really had no receivers outside of McLaurin last year. Now you got a healthy Cam Sims back, healthy Kelvin Harmon. You bring in Curtis Samuel. You got Logan Thomas. I'd temper expectations, but he could have a big year.
Yeah, I mean, again, some of this is the idea that
Sean's dialed
turf
in
toe,
the foot injuries. He's
I
really
just
big
think when you're hearing about these injuries in the summer, it's a red flag for me. Kramer, what's your RB2 here?
ADP of 127 is insane. We have this man in the DGens only dynasty league, Sean. He for some reason he's running back 43. He finished well above that last year, and Mark Ingram left the situation. This team is going to run the ball well north of 500 times. Gus Edwards, just there's too much opportunity. He's my running back 30. Again, if I could end up with him as one of my maybe third or fourth running backs in a situation where I have two studs, I love it. I think Gus Edwards at worst case where no one gets hurt, he's going to be a guy who's serviceable during bye weeks, maybe a flex guy. He's going to be used around the red zone. We talked about it. The coaching staff re-signed him. They like him. They trust him. And there could be some question about how if Dobbins can continue his efficiencies. Now, if Dobbins goes down or something happens to Dobbins, Gus Edwards becomes a league winner. Yeah. So I love Gus Edwards. I have Gus Edwards probably in the same realm as Sam Darnold in best ball at like the 25% range because I take him. He's just available. He's available in that 8th, 9th round, and it just seems like too much value. Well,
and again, he's one of those. It's one of those situations where the Ravens keep talking about how if this is the year Lamar's going to be unleashing the deep ball, we're going to be throwing way more. I'm just still skeptical that that's really going to happen, and especially now Lamar getting COVID for the second time, he's going to be out for 10 days. I think anything that they were looking to introduce into their game plan, passing game wise, is going to be a little slowed down with him being out this early, which favors a guy like Gus Edwards. What about you, Zach? RB2. What are we looking at?
We got more slim pickings. Found out today that Philip Lindsay is on the Texans, and I don't know what to expect from them. But David Johnson has not been healthy in years. Yeah. They also have Mark Ingram, who I thought was out of the league, and Philip Lindsay. He's a hustler. Yeah. So you can grab him that late, and he's the de facto option. You're good.
He's free. I mean, you can in these best ball drafts we're doing. He's often going undrafted, which seems crazy. I know it's a four-headed monster. He very well could be the running back one. He's a guy who just runs hard. I mean, he's an undrafted guy. Our hearts fought his way on his team. I love Philip Lindsay's game. We're like his adopted parents watching him play youth soccer. Yeah. The only thing that's tough from a fantasy point of view is he doesn't seem to be super involved in the passing game, but he could get all the goal line touches the Texans have. We have no idea what this Texans team is going to be this year. They may not get a lot of goal line touches. Who's QB1 right now? Tyrod, baby. Tyrod, I guess.
They bring Savage back. I don't
Davis Mills, the rookie. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe Deshaun Watson. Who knows? It's a lot to be said to figure out there. Still down in Houston. My RB2 again. I've been all over this guy to the point that I've been lectured on the pronunciation of his name. Give me Chuba Hubbard. Correctly nailed it there. ADP of 156. A lot of this is just the idea that Christian McCaffrey has had injury issues, and he gets a ton of touches. So they drafted Chuba for a reason. I think he has a lot of the skill set that they like in McCaffrey, and they seem to be high on him. Maybe he gets some third down work, but again, much like Mike Davis won a lot of people leagues last year, Chuba Hubbard certainly has that upside. And again, he's a guy, same type of thing in a managed league, probably going undrafted.
When you said they were high, you talking about the Rule family? Because I know Miss Rule was super high on him.
His wife, strangely, was all in on Chuba Hubbard. I still haven't really gotten the explanation about why his wife, Matt Rule's wife, wanted her husband to draft Chuba Hubbard, but he did, like a good husband. Happy wife, happy life. Yeah. So maybe in that line of thinking, Chuba Hubbard sees the field and is fantasy relevant here. And again, I got him RB45, slightly higher on market, but I think people are. He's a fun handcuff there if you have McCaffrey, and again, if you take massive upside.
Yeah, and if you have McCaffrey and you're doing like a managed, you're handcuffing.
League, you have to get
one of the few guys you're 100% handcuffing.
Yeah. All right. We're gonna get to the pass catchers here in a second. Just want to give a shout out to PropSwap.com. Oh man, PropSwap baby, football season is here. I'm not saying it's about to be here. It's here. We're going to be breaking down, Hall of Fame game spreads and DFS lineups. It is here. Again, PropSwap, perfect place to buy and sell real sports bets. And again, you don't need to win the bet. All you need is for your odds to improve. Let's say, for instance, you had a ticket on Carson Wentz under passing yards. You might be able to sell that.
He's got to play though, right? We need him to play.
check the sportsbook rules. If he's out for the entire season, sometimes that's a no-go. It depends, because I looked at the Tebow props. The receiving props for Tebow are good whether he makes the team or not. So again, double check the sportsbook rules on that. But if you got some fun player props, or even you want to take some long shots on some of these Super Bowl winners, ride the wave there. They get off to a hot start. You can unload them on PropSwap.com, and they're encouraging people to go for buy two tickets of the same bet, and then you can sell one for profit and keep one to have some skin in the game. Head over to PropSwap.com and download the PropSwap app. PropSwap, where America buys and sells sports bets. Kramer,
Sean, for the first week of the preseason, for each game, you buy 2 under tickets and you sell one at half. You sell it at halftime.
Yeah,
when it's looking
you can sell tickets live, like in game. So pretty fun marketplace over there.
World's changing.
The summer of soccer continues on Paramount Plus. Stream over 2,000 soccer matches a year from around the world. That's all the heart-pounding drama from CBS Sports, including the UEFA Champions League, Europa League, Italy's Serie A, Argentina's Primera Division, the Brasileiro, NWSL, the Asian Football Confederation, and the CONCACAF qualifiers featuring the stars from the US and Mexican men's national teams, plus much, much more. It's the best of the beautiful game with all of the beautiful names like Messi, Mbappe, Ronaldo, Rapinoe, and Pulisic. Be part of the excitement as champions are crowned and history is made. The World's Games live here on Paramount Plus. Visit ParamountPlus.com to start your free trial and stream every match live.
All right, number 2.
Mike, I wanted to put this guy on my list, but I saw you already had him, Kramer.
He's at wide receiver 50, 136 on the ADP, and he's my wide receiver 31, and that's Mike Williams. Health is the only concern here, but what he could be unleashed to do in this offense, right? Anthony Lynn is going away.
Yep.
You have to imagine they're going to see the weapon that this guy is when paired with Keenan Allen, when paired with Austin Eckler in the background, the big arm of Justin Herbert. So I think you're seeing it in some of the higher stakes leagues. I've been noticing in the FFPC, he's starting to go in the 8th, 7th round. So his ADP is probably dropping at this point. But I think, when you're playing with your buddies, no one's going to be looking at Mike Williams in the 8th round, 7th, 8th round. And
Keenan Allen, no spring chicken either. And again, Mike Williams is like yards per catch is kind of like through the roof,
downfield, high ceiling. Probably going to be a guy we're often popping in DFS, potentially with like a double stack with a Donald Parham or wherever the tight end of the week is. But yeah, Mike Williams, I'm starting to grab. I'm still doing best ball teams.
Yes,
right. Breaking news.
Still unloading.
Mike Williams' ownership is moving up.
Heavy. Zach, where are you at with the Chargers offense, passing game? Any fantasy thoughts on that, or Mike Williams in particular?
I mean, Mike Williams, if he can stay healthy, I mean, he's more of like a red zone kind of guy. Keenan Allen's going to get that bulk, and you got a couple of guys on there. I forget the guy's name they had. One of the guys on rookie list. Guyton can play. I like that kid.
Yeah,
they don't have a tight end this year, so that's going to be interesting where those targets go. So it's going to be wild.
Yeah, they got rid of Hunter Henry. He's up in New England. Parham, the XFL guy, and then they brought in Cook from New Orleans, super old. So we'll see what they end up doing there. Who's a sleeper receiver you like, Zach?
Well, now that Aaron Rodgers is back, I got to go Alan Lazard. Fantasy Pros had him as a wide receiver 75, and I think a healthy Alan Lazard, if he's the number 2, I think you got it pretty good if you're getting him late.
Yeah, no, I like that, and even I mean the fact that his return to the Packers seemed tied to Randall Cobb. Why would you not maybe roll the dice on Randall Cobb, either in a best ball or again just kind of a deep roster store?
You can there's like 4 Packers receivers that you can get basically at the end of drafts for no cost, free. And it's probably worth it because I have a feeling Aaron Rodgers is back.
Yes,
full FU mode.
He's going to be going off. Okay, I'm going Darnell Mooney for the Chicago Bears. Fantasy Pros has 146 overall, receiver 55. No, you're thinking of Anthony Miller. Anthony Miller got traded. Darnell Mooney is still on the Bears. I got him receiver 44. He really had a pretty nice season for a rookie last year. I know the Bears.
He's a sexy pick.
I was just talking to one of
you
the.
You must be hanging out with the deep fantasy nerd community.
The Tribune guy, 61 catches, 631 yards. Now, again, I'm no massive Andy Dalton fan, but I think Andy Dalton and Justin Fields are both kind of a step up throwing the ball maybe from Mitch Trubisky. So second year, better quarterback play. You could see him improving, and he's getting drafted so late. I think he's worth the shot here for sure. Darnell Mooney. Kramer, what about you? Who's another receiver you like as a deep sleeper?
All right, so I just updated my fantasy rankings earlier today, so check those out over on the app. But I know he started on the pup. I did bump him down a little bit, but Devontae Parker is still the number 1. Seems all the receivers are dealing with injuries down there in Miami.
It is not looking good.
And it just doesn't make sense that he would be wide receiver 52. He is the number 1 receiver. I understand he might not run as many of the vertical routes, but he's the number 1 receiver. And if you watch Tua throw the ball, what do you notice, Sean? It's not the most accurate ball. What do you need? A big, strong, physical receiver to go up there and get it. So I think he'll be a red zone threat. I think he'll definitely outperform his ADP of 140. That's what, 11th, 12th round.
Yeah,
that's stupid. I mean, you're taking people in your league have taken backup quarterbacks, and you can still get the number 1 receiver on a team. Yes, please. So he's my wide receiver 37.
Well, and if you've seen Tua's average yards per attempt, the vertical passing game is not his friend. Something easy and very catchable to Devontae Parker is. So definitely in a PPR league, Devontae Parker, ton of value there. Zach, back to you. What's another receiver, on your list here?
I also had Devontae Parker, so I'm moving my 3 up to 2 and looking for a new 3. But at 3, I had Gabe Davis out in Buffalo. We don't know what's going to happen with Cole Beasley. We don't know how healthy Emmanuel Sanders is going to be. And Gabe Davis is a red zone threat and a touchdown machine. I really like what I saw to him in year 1. UCF guy, I think. So I'm excited to see what he does. I was actually surprised to see them even sign Sanders, seeing what they got from him. But if the stars align, I think it could be special.
Source is close to the situation. I think the Sanders signing is all about the firecracker that is Cole Beasley.
Yeah, and
they're going to need to fill a void.
And again, Cole is maybe he's going to wrap his way off the team. But Gabe Davis, again, I think we had him a couple times in DFS late in the season.
He's a fun extra stack with Diggs and Allen.
Yeah, massive upside, young kid, and again, the Buffalo Bills throw the ball a ton. And Brian Daboll said they're not planning on changing anything. They're still going to throw the ball a ton. They haven't added anyone really to the rushing game. So,
and I think if you look, like Sanders and Cole Beasley operate in the same part of the field. Like Gabe Davis is the deep guy, so I don't think there's any impact to his workload.
This guy, rookie, and which you're always rolling the dice here. He's 151 right now overall. His ADP by position on Fantasy Pros is receiver 58. I got him as high as 43, and that's just because of all the hype coming out of training camp. Now it's easy to fall for some of these guys, but Elijah Moore coming out of the Jets. When veteran players go out of their way to compliment another receiver, Corey Davis said, "quote He's a baller."
Corey Davis, a guy who struggled early in his career,
yeah. So
complimenting the young guy on being so mature.
But this is from the New York Post. Elijah Moore's veteran confidence impressing at Jets training camp. Again, I think game script wise, maybe the Jets are behind. They're throwing a bunch, and maybe Elijah Moore is the guy that benefits from it.
Most confident I've seen Jets fans not named Colby in a long time.
Yeah.
They're very excited about their offense.
Elijah Moore just really could be that rookie receiver in the same way we saw Justin Jefferson pop. Now, certainly I don't expect him to pop to that degree, but at, receiver 58 overall, him getting to be the number one target in New York, the path to that isn't insane.
Yeah. Like
now, granted they brought in Corey Davis and stuff like that, but again,
Keelan Cole.
Yeah, but Zach Wilson, he doesn't have any pre-existing connections with any of these players, so maybe he really, bonds with Elijah Moore and they find some confidence.
Plus, go watch Elijah Moore in college.
He's just like he's an eye test guy too. Like a guy. If you have on your fantasy team, it's gonna be fun to watch.
Yep. I mean, if we were talking about it earlier, week 1, little Elijah Moore, Zach Wilson
against that Panthers defense.
Yes, please.
Or the Panthers. I was going back and forth between them.
I'm gonna stack a stack with Zach's earlier quarterback, Traquan Smith. Now with the Michael Thomas news, I mean, wide receiver 65 on the ledger, 208 ADP, which is basically undrafted, depending on how deep you go. I upgraded him to wide receiver 47 because he's gotten me before.
Yeah,
he's been a guy who we've heard Sean Payton talk about before, and he's never done anything consistently. I think that 2 or 3 touchdown game was about it. But without Michael Thomas, I don't know who else it would be. And Jameis definitely is going to be a quarterback that's more compatible with a receiver like Traquan Smith, someone who can work the field more vertically than maybe a Michael Thomas. And so I'm definitely looking to snag as much as possible. Obviously, with the Michael Thomas news, he's going to keep going up the board, and I think why not? I mean, who else is there, right? We saw the news about Deontay Harris, getting suspended for a DUI.
Maybe Marquez Callaway
we like, but I mean, someone's going to catch the ball that isn't Alvin Kamara and isn't Adam Troutman, super hype tight end machine, but. Well, Traquan Smith, wide receiver 47.
And Traquan is one of those interesting guys in the sense that he has been hyped up before, and people
like
are probably burned.
Post hype guy.
Yeah, and people have been burned by him, so they're not going to want to draft him again. And that's maybe where he get a little value there. How about you, Zach? I know Kramer stole one of your sleepers here with Devontae Parker.
Still looking for 3. I'm just seeing who kind of excites me on here. How about? Let's see.
Why don't you jump ahead, Sean?
Yeah, you got it.
I'll throw in mine here. And Ryan, this is a guy that we haven't talked about previously, I feel like, that much, but kind of the more research I'm doing, the more I'm reading these camp reports, the more I'm talking myself into Marvin Jones Jr. being the guy in Jacksonville. Now, if you follow the thread here, Darren Bevel came from Detroit. He essentially brought Marvin Jones Jr. with him.
Yep.
He has no allegiance to DJ Chark. And if you look at some of the comments that Urban Meyer already has had about DJ Chark, it's, he's not really locked into him. And I know the fantasy community loves themselves some Laviska Shenault, but again, I'll tell you this: I do know Darren Bevel loves Marvin Jones Jr. and Marvin Jones Jr. I know you're high on Stafford, but on that Lions team, he still was able to have 76 catches, 9 touchdowns, 978 yards.
Galladay did miss a lot of the season with a Instagram hip problem.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't know. Again, he's in the mix to be the number 1 receiver. I think really, how do you handicap the touches here? It could go either way. And in my head, the fact that Bevel is bringing him over, he's ADP 129, Fantasy Pros receiver 51. I got him a little higher at 41. I think there's a real story here for him to be the guy in Jacksonville.
Yeah, I think you can probably get value in Marvin Jones just because he's rounds 4, 5, 6 rounds after Shenault.
Yeah.
Chark, those guys going in like the 7th, 8th round. So
yeah, you're paying way less for a guy that I feel like has an equal shot to be the number 1 guy.
Yep.
Zach, where are you at with you find your extra sleeper here?
Yeah, I'm looking. How about let's see, we got.
I can help you out.
How about AJ Green? How about AJ Green out of the Cardinals?
We've been
DeAndre Hopkins. DeAndre Hopkins might retire, so that's interesting. Larry Fitzgerald, I don't know what's going on with him. I don't even know if he's on the active roster. People have forgotten Christian Kirk's alive, and they need somebody to throw to. Why not AJ Green? Maybe he can revitalize his career in the desert.
And it's funny because last year I think the big debate was like, oh, do we take AJ Green in like the 7th, 8th round? And when I was doing the FFPC, we didn't really know. It turned out like he's washed, potentially washed, but. he could just get enough volume.
Yeah.
Like there is a version of this where he's going, I don't know what his ADP is, but I'm assuming it's basically undrafted.
205.
Yeah. And so you could end up getting the wide receiver 2 for a team that's going to throw a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's essentially that air raid system.
He was really good in his prime. Like it is hard to
no. And if you look at I mean, that Cincinnati offense really hit a wall at some point last year. He wasn't on the same page as Joe Burrow.
He was in Cincinnati for all those years.
Right.
Maybe he just wanted to go somewhere warm, Sean.
And maybe we have a Carson Palmer like resurgence when Carson Palmer left Cincinnati, got down to Arizona.
Dry heat's good for the bones.
Found a little fountain of youth there. Maybe a similar path here for AJ Green. I definitely had a couple tickets of AJ Green in best ball, and again for that reason of the guy, again has the potential to break out and maybe certainly be the Arizona number 2. That's certainly in the.
Based on preseason, I'm almost excited to get a Kyler, D Hop, AJ Green stack for super cheap.
Load up. Closing it out, Ryan. Before we get to that, of course, head over to underdogfantasy.com. Use our promo code SGPN for a free shot, a free roll in the Best Ball Mania 2 contest. Again, chance to win $1 million. Well, what would you? Don't waste your time doing a mock draft. Just do a best ball draft over at underdogfantasy.com. Promo code SGPN. Kramer, tight end. What are you doing here?
I couldn't believe it. Tyler Higbee was tight end 17, ADP 140. He's my tight end 5. With Stafford and now with the Akers situation, it could even get more kind of a vertical passing game. Gerald Everett, of course, out of town now in Seattle. The sky is the limit here. I'm really high on Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods. I think we discussed this with the Cam Akers news. I'm upgrading everyone in the passing game here.
Yeah, I definitely moved Higbee up on my rankings.
Could this offense support three pass catchers in fantasy every week? Very easily. And so Tyler Higbee, tight end 5. He's going undrafted.
Yeah.
In single tight end leagues. Like that's insane. That's insane.
I mean, again,
I can wait to the end of the draft and take him as my tight end.
And you're getting a starting tight end. He's not splitting reps with Everett like he did previously.
Sean McVay has wanted to feature a tight end. He's featured him at times. We saw at the end of last year, he was trying to get Gerald Everett going. Just didn't turn out to be the guy. Now it's one guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the rookie that everyone's talking about has some abdominal core injury now. So those tend to take a little while to get back from.
All right, Zach, closing it out strong. A fantasy football sleeper tight end. What do you got for us?
How about OJ Howard?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Bound to do something.
Yeah.
So and if he doesn't, they already have Cameron Brate. You already have Gronk. Maybe somebody could pick him up that could actually use him, because I think it's fair to say he's probably the most athletic weapon Brady has in his arsenal, and just nobody knows how to use him. So Brady can't, somebody else can. And one other quick name is somebody I heard a couple weeks ago. A sentence I never thought I heard. Somebody said, "Watch out for Anthony Firkser."
The Ferk Daddy in Tennessee.
Yeah, with Delaney Walker gone. That's a name to keep an eye on.
Jonu Smith gone. Yeah, in Tennessee.
I mean, look, we're fans of Firkser. He performed in the summer of Sim last year when sports were canceled.
Just watching simulated.
Virtual Anthony Firkser showed up big in our Madden tournament, so he forever will have a place in our hearts.
Ryan, I again love this guy's name.
It's also fun.
He's one of those guys who will get penetration.
John Madden would love this guy's name. Penn State kid. Heading over to the Steelers, Pat Freiermuth. They used a second round pick on him. Again, with tight end, you could do Robert Tonyan, who I love. He's just outside 100 ADP, but I've talked enough about Robert Tonyan. Again, with Aaron Rodgers back, he's going to be a top 10 tight end. I'll give you the deeper sleeper that is Pat Freiermuth. Again, they used a decent amount of draft capital on him. And again, all the early stuff is Pat Freiermuth continues to exceed expectations at training camp. Could the Steelers have found their next great tight end in Pat Freiermuth? There's some buzz around him. Ebron's getting older. It just kind of makes sense. I got him as tight end 17. So again, a guy that you can get for free at the end of your draft and not have to spend a lot of draft capital at the position.
I've been getting. I'm also doing some of the FFPC tourney. They have $125 tournament, and that's tight end premium, 1.5 points.
Oh yeah,
per reception for the tight end. I've been ending up with a lot of Freiermuth lately as my third tight end. He's I mean, I think it's obvious. Like, don't we remember what it looks like when Ben Roethlisberger is throwing those fadeaway shots to Heath Miller or whoever?
Yeah.
Like, he just likes to do
Could
that.
Could be a big red zone target.
We discussed this. Like, part of the reason we don't like Harris is they just don't go to the running back around the goal line lately. That's not the game. So
yeah, they love the quick short passes, and a big dude like Pat Freiermuth with a big target, I think is just right in I don't Big Ben's wheelhouse.
And I have a feeling, I know we're hearing all this buzz about Big Ben taking snaps under center and shit. He's an old man. He doesn't want to fucking bend over.
Nah,
He's going to be in the
to
shotgun.
stand back there and stand in the shotgun like a statue and just throw 5-yard ins.
He is pretty attractive from the shoulders up, though. Pretty attractive.
Ryan, of course, gets compared to Ben Roethlisberger all the time, so he's always trying to hype up his looks. Zach, your podcast upon further review, what do you got coming up for us there on the pod?
So had Jason Campbell on this week. He's pretty cool. Always fun talking Washington with him. Got recurring guest Lofa Tatupu coming on next week. And we got a couple other names in the fire. Just kind of waiting for football to get going. Really not much going on. So yeah, it's been kind of slow in the month of July, but ready to ramp back up.
Yeah, and I saw you also do social media for Pro Football Focus.
Yeah, I actually just announced that the other day. So I start in a couple weeks. So I'm excited to get rolling with that. So yeah,
congrats, man.
Appreciate it. Yeah,
it's going to be fun.
Remote, so based out of DC, so it's gonna be a lot of fun. Can't wait.
All right. Any I know we hit deep sleeper fantasy stuff, but is there any we just put out a video of some of our refreshing takes, kind of like hot takes essentially for the football season. Do you have any sort of big predictions against the grain for the NFL season? Anything you're keeping your eye on?
I don't think let's try to say. I'm very curious who wins the AFC South. Let's go with that.
Yeah, well, now especially with the Wentz stuff, it's going to be wide open. I mean, it feels like it's Tennessee's division to lose, but who knows?
The Texans. Tyrod Taylor.
I think the Texans maybe not the complete dog of the division or the league, as everyone says. I think they can, and we gave it out as a prop the other day, but I don't think they finish in last place.
Only one of the quarterbacks starting in the AFC South has won a division, and I think that's Tyrod Taylor. Am I wrong? Oh, Tannehill.
Ryan
Tannehill.
Right. Fuck. Still
Finish
a solid
the show.
set, Ryan.
Get it out of
Still
here.
A solid
Let's get us
set.
out of here.
All right. Well, Zach, appreciate you coming on. Make sure to follow Zach on Twitter at ZBrook. Check out the Upon Further Review podcast. And make sure you download our app in the App Store, Google Play Store. Toss us a review there for your chance to win some gear every Monday, aka Merch Monday.
Thank you for participating in the Sports Gambling Podcast.
For the Sports Gambling Podcast, I'm Sean, stacking the money green, and he is Ryan.
Good episode, Sean.
Kramer. Let it ride.